I truly miss the movies of the 1980s and 1990s where when they had to create a villain, they actually had to do real puppeteering, real costume work, and they had to use our imagination against us in order to make us believe that what we were seeing was the most dangerous person who ever existed, who could do just about anything with impunity and get away with it. There's a very simple reason why Darth Vader strikes fear in the hearts of men when they see him, even in the old movies. It's because he's gigantic, he's black, he's shaped like a penis, and he can easily subdue you and choke the shit out of you with his mind. There have been plenty of other villains in movie history that were large, black, shaped like penises, and easily able to subdue and do terrible things to you. And the alien xenomorph probably takes the cake as one of the others who is of this sort. And the simple fact of the matter is, they always hide their faces and they hide their eyes so that you never actually know what they're looking at. And that's part of creating fear, because one of the things that we fear most as humans is not knowing what something is looking at. So this way we're not sure what the angle of attack has to be in order to kill it. Removing the eyes and removing the face removes the humanity from something, which is one of the reasons why the stormtroopers wear all that armor. It's so you don't know that they're actually humans underneath, and you're terrified of them because you know that even if you kill one, there's going to be lots and lots more to come after you. It was only in the end of Return of the Jedi where you actually find out that underneath that robotic suit, there's actually a man. And that was only because Luke was able to redeem his father before setting him on fire and giving him a Jedi burial. Second trilogy was absolutely terrible, and I'm not just talking about that crappy Phantom Menace movie. I'm talking about all three of the movies. The only good parts were when Darth Maul comes out with his lightsabers and kills one of the Jedi, and I really had hoped that he'd kill the other one, but he ends up getting chopped in half. And then you've got to deal with this snotty, whiny, loser little brat, entitlement asshole Hayden Christensen, who basically destroyed the third movie and the second movie. And the only thing that redeemed it was finally seeing the helmet actually be put on his face so that I don't have to look at this snivelly, whiny little punk kid anymore. So now with Star Wars Episode 7, we get to Kylo Ren. The movie establishes him pretty quickly as somebody who's actually pretty strong with the Force. And I really hate to make any spoilers, so I absolutely won't. But the movie does establish that he is very strong with the Force very early in. Unfortunately, later in the film, he ends up becoming a snivelly, whining little bastard who just goes into temper tantrums left and right. And basically, everybody looks down on him, especially if they rank higher than him, simply because they recognize that he's basically a child who happens to have Force powers. Kylo Ren is a perfect allegory to what we have today. We have a bunch of whiny, sniveling, unproductive little morons who would gladly vote Bernie Sanders into office simply because he promises them welfare handouts and he promises to make everything right. He'll tell you, yeah, I'll give you all the money you need for your college tuition and I'll give you a livable wage, quote unquote livable wage. I have no idea what that means. I make over $100,000. I live in New York City, and over $100,000 just isn't enough to live in New York City. So it depends where you live. I don't know if Bernie Sanders knows anything about economics, but apparently the asshole hasn't heard of the Price Consumer Index. Now I'm starting to see it pop up on Facebook that Kylo Ren is a bitch. And then there's a lot of people who are trying to defend him as desperately as they can. But the simple fact of the matter is, when you go into temper tantrums simply because you're upset that you can't find a droid, or you're upset that somebody escapes your ship under your nose, when you've tried to demonstrate that you have Force powers to sense when somebody lands on a planet, but you're obviously not strong enough with the Force to know that somebody's helping somebody escape off your ship because you're so incompetent. Well, basically, it's really hard for anybody to be able to defend that. So basically, I'm nominating Kylo Ren for Bitch 2016, since this movie has basically just started to get going. Kylo Ren is the absolute perfect allegory to today's entitlement generation. Just imagine for a second if any of these little assholes had Force powers and they were able to get what they wanted just by using the Force and telepathically choking people. we'd have a serious problem on our hands, because McDonald's, Checkers, Burger King, Taco Bell, they'd never be able to get the checks written fast enough to appease these little bastards, who would have been a lot better off if their parents had just given them an ass kicking. He should have never taken that helmet off. I was scared of him right up until he took that helmet off, and as soon as he revealed that little teenage pimple-faced trying to borrow mom's car so he can go out on a Friday night, I just absolutely lost all respect for him. However, what I can say is that although liberal feminism wanted Brienne of Tarth's or Gwendolyn Christie's character Phasma in this movie to be the breakout character, she added absolutely nothing, and this one stormtrooper single-handedly stole the show. I really wanted him to take that riot control stick and beat down everybody, including Kylo Ren, who I'm pretty sure he could probably take it. Kylo Ren is an absolute loser. He's Disney's newest princess. He's wearing a dress. He's a punk. He can't fight. He got beat by a girl. He got beat by this black guy who is a stormtrooper. I give up. No more Kylo Ren. You need to fix him, or you need to get rid of him in the second movie, because you've really gone so far as to ruin him. You should have never taken his helmet off, and now that you've taken his helmet off, now I'm not scared of him. Get a new character, because he sucks.